Alright, in this video we're going to take a look at prime numbers. So the first thing we need to do is figure out what a prime number is. So prime numbers, we're going to start off with whole numbers. So whole numbers are numbers that we typically use for counting. So numbers like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, as you can probably guess, this keeps going. So we could count really high. So we start off with whole numbers, but then we have two rules that we need to follow for prime numbers. The first rule is that prime numbers are bigger than 1. So bigger than 1. So from our list already, we can eliminate 0 and 1 because those are not bigger than 1. And then our second rule is that prime numbers are only divisible by the number 1 and the number itself. So those are our two rules. Whole numbers bigger than 1, only divisible by 1 and itself. So let's take some of the numbers we already have written up here and see if they meet these conditions. If we start with 2, right, then 2 is of course divisible by 1. 2 divided by 1 is 2. And 2 is also divisible by itself. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So the question is there anything else that 2 is divisible by other than 1 and 2? And so we try, but we can't come up with anything else that 2 is divisible by. So since it's not divisible by anything else, it has met condition 1, it's met condition 2, so 2 is prime. 2 is a prime number. Let's take the next one, 3. Again, I could say 3 divided by 1 is 3. 3 divided by itself is 1. And again, I try to think if there's anything else that it's divisible by. And again, I'm stuck. I can't think of any other numbers other than 1 and 3 that divide evenly into 3. So this is also a prime number. And I'm going to go one more down our list here to 4. And although 4 divided by 1 is 4, and 4 divided by itself is 1, I can think of something other than 1 or 4 itself that divides evenly into 4. So for example, 4 divided by 2, that divides evenly. So the fact that we found something else other than 4 and 1 that divides evenly into 4 means that this is not prime. Now the first part of our test here that we were doing, this part over here, you probably have gotten a feel for the fact that every whole number is going to be divisible by 1, like here in this first column. So we don't really need to check that. And every whole number is divisible by itself. So we don't really need to check that. The one thing that we are going to be interested in is whether we can find something else that divides evenly into our number other than 1 or itself. So we're really going to be testing to see if it is not prime. So let's take a look at our problem set. We're given a few different numbers and we're asked to pick the ones that are prime numbers and to put a check mark next to them. Well, 2 we've already talked about, because even though 2 is divisible by 1 and itself, I can't think of anything else. So it is just divisible by 1 and itself, 2. So it is going to be prime. And when I think of 5, I know 5 is divisible by 1 and by 5. And again, I can't think of anything else that divides evenly into 5. So just 1 and 5. Okay, so that means it's also a prime number. 11, divisible by 1, divisible by 11, and I think, well, maybe 2 goes into it. No, 3, maybe 3 goes into 11. Nope, not evenly. 4, any of these other numbers I think of, they don't divide evenly into 11. So just 1 and 11. So it's prime. 19, I go through the same process. I try other numbers other than 1 and 19, but none of the other numbers, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, any numbers between 1 and 19, as I try them, I see they don't divide evenly either. So just 1 and 19. That's also prime. So the next one, though, 21, this one I think I've got. I know it's divisible by 1. I know it's divisible by 21. So is it divisible by anything else? Yeah. 21 divided by 3 is 7. So there are other numbers other than 1 and itself that divide into 21 evenly. So it is not going to be prime. I'm not going to put a check mark on that one. And for 22, I go through the same process. I know 1 and 22 divide evenly into 22. But are there other numbers? One right off the bat. It's an even number, so it's divisible by 2. So 2 is a different number other than 1 or 22 that divides evenly into 22. So no, it's not going to be a prime number either. So we have checked off all of the ones that are primes, and the ones that we did not check off are not prime numbers.